Good morning, friends. I thought that I would do a recording in the brightness of the morning light about our Zoom session last night. So it's week 3 of 100 Days of Care. And last night we talked about loving kindness. That's the far-reaching attitude that is practiced throughout the 100 days, but is that we spend a little more time on from days 11 to 20. So I thought I would make a guided meditation here, just a 5-minute practice you could do, followed by a few of the points that we discussed last night, in lieu of the kind of crummy, granular, bad sound recording that comes from our Zoom sessions. So if you'd like to just set yourself in a position for meditation, that could be any position. You could stand up, you could be seated, you could lay down, you could be walking. And dropping into the physical presence of the body. So settling yourself, maybe with a couple of deep breaths. Beginning to feel the sensations of the body, how your body is, these sensations like lightness or heaviness, warmth or coolness. So parts of the body might be troubled, achy, stiff, and other parts loose and relaxed. And we tune into the body in its entirety and kind of the space around the body as well. And as a center of interest, we take the breath moving in the body, so the subtle energy of breathing that's happening in the system. That we can think of it as the breath, oxygenating, but maybe more specifically the breath as that which gives the body animation, the life-giving quality of breath. And you could settle yourself with a simple noting in as you breathe in, out as you breathe out. Training or attuning the mind to this rhythm, this natural rhythm body breathing. You might make a shift to a recognition that you're aware of something, the body breathing, that isn't actually personal. It's distinct or different from your self-concept, who you are. So the body is something that we experience, but that is embedded within the natural world. So breathing, a function of something that's happening in relationship with the atmosphere and the planet. When we observe the breath in this way, it's almost like sitting at the lake shore watching gentle waves come in. We feel the movement in the breathing body. And because it's not personal, it's not about how well we're doing it, we can relax with it. Just body breathing in, body breathing out. If you're practicing with a mantra, you could introduce that into the experience. I am calm, confident, curious. I am calm, confident, curious. So these are the words that for me are resonant today. So finding the phrase for you that your system responds to, the body and mind relaxes with. And so loving kindness is a befriending, it's a kind of relationship that we, or the quality of the relationship that we have. So however it is for you, there's, we're applying it physically and mentally, where there's agitation, anxiety, worry, it's felt in the body. I'm calm. Yeah, we might not believe the words, but then that's the ground, that's the area of interest, this agitation. What is it like for me, and can I observe that? So it doesn't have to calm us. The practice of loving kindness doesn't necessarily result in pleasant feeling. It's a development of an attitude, how to be with our experience. This deep acceptance or allowance, whatever's coming. Good, so you could sit like this each day. Between now and when we meet again, you could take a little break like this and do a meditation. You could do it anytime you think of it through the day. Pause and do a 2-minute practice. Yep. I think one of the keys here is we're developing connection so that we know what's going on in the body and mind. So loving kindness is not a theoretical experience. And we have a tendency to intellectualize and think, it'd be so good if everybody in the world loved each other. People should be more loving. I should be more loving. When really we need to drop into the moment of the experience. We feel the agitation in the body. We turn to it with care. So patient with it instead of resisting or pushing it away. So this was one of the things we talked about in last night's session, is ill will, that aversion to our experience, where we don't want to be having a particular experience, we don't want to be around a particular person, we don't like, and we push, that's considered ill will or aversive. And that movement of mind in itself isn't a problem. It's a natural expression of the organism, liking, not liking. But if we're unconscious to it and we're aversive and we're tense all the time, this is creating our experience of the world. Our life becomes permeated with tension and worry and unconscious, unexamined fears. So loving kindness is a way to work right at the level of this moment. In this moment, can I soften my belly? Can I relax? Can I be with my experience? So it's seen on the cushion in practice, so in formal practice, or you might notice it during daily life. This tendency we have to have ourselves living in our ideas about ourselves, living in the mental realm. So for example, we might have a physical pain like a headache. And we might feel the headache momentarily, but then we jump into, what am I going to do if I still have a headache when I have that meeting in an hour? And we're worried then on top of the ache in the head, we're in the future already. So mindfulness and loving kindness applied in the moment, we attend to ourselves with care. We notice the pull into the future and the concern, but we attend to the agitation that's arising right here, not intellectually, not on the level of analyzing it. What does it mean? But on the level of how is it felt, and can I relax with it? then maybe we do go take some medicine for the headache, but we don't have a aversive lived experience of it. Headaches happen. Yeah? So this is how we can begin to bring loving kindness into our experience in a really embodied way, and in a way that, moment by moment through the day, we're inviting it in. And so it's not some distant thing. Someday when all of the agitation of the world is done, I'll sit and be happy. I'll relax and be happy. Yeah, the practice is, can I relax and be happy with the agitation as it's arising? Yeah? Can I hold enough space for the whole of it? The other point that we touched on was around our view of this is at last night's session, the other point we touched on was our view of the mind and body as something that's not personal, but that's, as we did in our little practice at the beginning, that's an expression of, integrated systems, mind and body. That we are stewards of it, you could think. We're caretakers of it. So the self, instead of being something that we're holding on to and projecting out into the world, is a lived experience, and it's one that we take responsibility for. So then loving kindness, you could ask yourself, what am I doing today in this moment for this body and mind? And I'm talking really practical things like drinking enough water, getting to bed at a reasonable time, closing down apps that we're scrolling through that are agitating the mind. Any sort of habitual pattern, working too hard, working without pausing for rest. Any manner of conditioning that we experience, if we step outside and observe the self with that dispassion, almost depersonalization, we might have a better chance of managing the experience, so caring for this being, the way you would care carefully for a pet or a child or someone that you love, making sure that they had the right conditions. We turn that care to ourselves, and then it becomes easier. I'm gonna sit and drink another glass of water instead of a third coffee because I know that's what this system needs. And it comes in that moment of connection with the self. I know it's not a big, mind-blowing example to have water instead of coffee, but the mechanism, that turning towards our experience with care and kindness and a little dispassion, a little depersonalization, the knock-on effect, the whole of our being is transformed when we start to live in this way. So I hope that's helpful. If you did miss the session and you wanted to see the discussion, I think also we did a little group brainstorming around caring for ourselves and what gets in the way of caring for yourself, and we put it on a whiteboard in the Zoom room, so that I will make available along with this video. I hope your practice is going really well. Little by little, day by day, messy as it wants to be. And if you still don't have an accountability buddy and would like one, please reach out and we will try to make that happen for you. Connecting daily with someone that you are reporting your progress to, it gives you a little edge.